In the world we live in, we have all come across stories of people who are conned out of their money by malicious and deceitful people. We have heard stories of women who gave their entire savings to men online they never met, or how men were robbed of their hard-earned money by devious people. There are two categories of people that con men salivate over. The first are naive people, and the second, desperate people. So the question we must ask ourselves is, how can we avoid becoming that person who was conned? If a conman finds a young person that does not know the woes of the world and is overly trusting to strangers, that will be a prime target for a scam. The young person is naive, and so all the con man or con woman who have to do is use flattery so as to open the door of friendship, then have to feed them false hopes and empty promises so as to take them for everything they have. One of the red flags that can tip you off about a conman is the fact that they never spend money on you. They may dress well and even speak eloquently, but they never are willing to support you financially. As a conman will only give you false dreams and narratives in exchange for your money. The only money they spend is on themselves, so as to seem and appear like someone that is in need of money. Also, a con woman could use marriage or love against a young person so as to cloud their judgment, so that person is unable to think critically when the con woman is taking them for everything they have. This scenario can be avoided by getting some smarts. Young people should read the book of Proverbs. It was written so as to help simple people become wise. Also, always approach a business proposal or a relationship with cautious optimism, so as to avoid being blinded by flattery or promises of marriage. If a conman finds a person going through financial hardships and is desperate for funds, that is another prime suspect for a scam. Which leads us to our second category, which is with desperate people. For example, a man has a sick wife in hospital, and the hospital is asking for $10,000 to pay for their medical bills, but the man only has $5,000. And then in comes a charming man who claims that he can triple the man's money, so that not only can he pay the medical bills, but have money on top of that. Due to the seriousness of the man's wife's condition, the man is unable to think critically, and so he gives the charming man his $5,000 so as to receive $15,000. But alas, the charming man turns out to be a conman, and so runs away with the $5,000 that the man had, leaving the man bankrupt with his wife terminally ill in the hospital. This scenario can be avoided by firstly living a healthy life. Prevention is better than cure. Don't drink alcohol, don't smoke anything, and wear your seatbelt when driving. Those three rules will see to it that a lot of misgivings in life can be avoided. But there are instances whereby maybe somebody has recurring illnesses or has cancer and the like. In such cases, if that person is in hospital and you don't have the complete money to pay, approach family and close friends first. Don't go to the bank, or God forbid, a casino, so as to get the money required. Friends and family will be willing to give you the money and have it returned to them with no interest added. Plus, they'll have more grace when it comes to the time required to pay it back. While a bank will seize your property in the event you cannot pay back the money owed, while a casino will steal your money through subtle means. Another example is whereby a person is looking for their dream job, but they don't have the right qualifications for it, so they seek to cut corners. By the way, people who seek to cut corners are a prime target for conmen. And so those people find someone who claims that they can pay their way into a good job, but it turns out to be a scam, and the person remains jobless and broke. In desperation, seek counsel. Don't resort to desperate means to quench that desperation. When desperate times come, don't resort to desperate measures. Resort to smart measures. There is no better time to think critically than in a bad situation. Some might ask, what about greedy people? Are they also a big target? In some instances, they are, but not always. Greedy people normally are very cautious when it comes to their money and how they spend it. And so naive and desperate people are a bigger and easier target for conmen. But if you have these tools and this understanding, a conman will approach you even if you are known to be greedy. Some may suggest becoming cheap so as to avoid conmen, but I strongly disagree with that suggestion. The reason for that is I recommend being smart with your finances, not cheap. Some may say being cheap is smart, but I strongly disagree. One who is smart will avoid unnecessary expenses, while the other who is cheap sees all expenses as unnecessary. One who is cheap will go as far as neglecting his body so as to save money, while one who is smart will treat his body as a temple, doing so as to avoid hospital fees in future. Cheap people are covetous people who idolize money, so much so that they place their wealth above their health. Be smart, not cheap.